Welcome everyone, welcome to today. Hello Nation of Magicians. Hello wherever you are, in whatever part of the world you are. Welcome, thank you for watching me. I want to share with you spring. It's, I don't know about you, but every beginning of season is a big event for me because I've come to realize and I've come to understand and experience what it means to change with the seasons. I know Tony Robbins speaks of it and they're like, be more like the seasons. And I never understood that until I started applying, until, life circumstances, when you become present, it's an interesting thing what happens. Presence brings about life's greatest gift. And I'm not just a walking metaphor, it's true, I'm living proof. Anyhow, about a week ago, this happened just a few days ago. And look, it's going really fast. It was really cold here, and the weather, probably much like in your part of the world, was I don't know. It's been, nature is showing us exactly how we treat each other. She deserves to be treated with kindness, the foundation of life, and understanding, which is what I built my foundation on. And unless we do that and respect, she shows us and she responds. And she always, always, always looks out for the divinity in her thriving. And when we don't appreciate nature and what we have, she gives us like these, you can't even call them slaps or punches. She shakes up our lives and gives us very strong and powerful messages in the form of earthquakes, in the form of natural disasters, in the form of messages from our plant kingdom and our, do you like how I just got right into it? This is what I do. I just get right into whatever inspires me to talk about. My name is Nikki Tanas. Welcome to Nikki Nation. Welcome to my nation. I call it my nation of magicians. You are not my nation. You are your own nation. My nation of magicians is me and everything that I create. And it's a magical co-creation. So that's what I'm referring to. If you want to partake in that and be your own nation of magicians, my heart is doing somersaults in my chest and I'm like so happy. Look, I even wore my favorite. I wore pink because pink is the vibration of love. It's the color of love. And, do you know in sales what pink is? For all of you watching that are in sales, do you know what that means? It's actually NLP. Blue is trust. Green is money. Yeah, it is. It's also health, Archangel Raphael. And pink means a done deal, a successful transaction. It means you just closed the deal and you just closed the deal and you started a new professional relationship with someone whom you love, know, and trust. That's what it means to me. What was I saying? I gotta show you this. There's a field, like this is my grand's backyard, her garden, and there we have our crops. I don't know what's gonna happen this year because the drought, like it's not raining. Our fountain is almost dry. And look at all those dandelions, the field of dandelions. I call it the field of happiness. It's the field of sunshine. It's the color of the sun. It's gold. Yeah. How do we get so blessed? How do I get so blessed to be here and do this? So, yeah, learning to adapt. And what does that mean? And you know, there's this conversation that I keep having lately with all of my clients, my friends and my family alike, and it's about awareness, and it's about the need to communicate succinctly, clearly, and profoundly. And the more I stand in alignment with that clarity and that way of living, the more I notice, well, first of all, my exterior world is changing because this is changing. It's constantly changing and evolving. So outside is always showing me what I need to work on. And so the conversation about having a conversation, about clear, open communication, we need more of that, especially in the times of today, especially right now, because all over the world, there is way too much confusion. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of everything. There's a lot of convolution. Have you noticed? Of course you've noticed. There's this talk about what is real and what isn't, what's the truth and what isn't, what's authentic and what is not. You know, authenticity to me, I mean, anytime you speak from your heart and you consciously walk in the shoes of your soul, the purpose of your life is to unite with the one of your soul. The purpose of your life here is to live soul-centered, heart-centered. That to me is authenticity, is when I walk and talk what my heart feels, what my soul came here to do. Right? Well, Nikki, how do you know that? You know by the way that you feel. And that to me is being authentic, because so many of us have no clue what that means. And we go and look up the definition of authenticity, and I know some of you are, well, Nikki, I am authentic. I'm like, oh, really? And I catch them in a lie. And it's not about me catching them in a lie. It's about me feeling intuitively, I already know the one standing in front of me, if there's untruth, if they're not in alignment, if their words, their way of being is not in alignment with their soul, I can feel that there's something amiss, something off about them, and I don't know what that is. And I don't need to know the details, I just know that they aren't honest with themselves, right? So then if they're not in alignment, if they don't connect the two, then how can they be anything else to anyone else? They're just going to be more of that to everyone they are in touch with, they're in communication with, they interact with, and so it shows, right? So I invite each of you to tap into your feeling center, into your intuition, your intuit. There's more neurons in our stomachs than there are in our brains. Did you know that? Yeah, go do your research, go do your homework. Science has proven it. Science, here's the thing about science, this is another conversation that I'm having a lot of. Or like, well, Nikki, prove it. I want some studies. I want some, well, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. The only thing I'm ever going to prove is to me, and that is to stand in alignment with all that is, and I call it the source of all knowledge. They speak to me. Yeah, I said they. And it's called tapping into that godlike, the code of God that's inside my DNA. It's inside of you and you and you and you and all of us. And that is what I operate for. That's my operating system. And it never needs any upgrading. So when I stand in alignment with that, I'm a walking, talking truth bomb. And the funny thing is, I have a knack for the truth, it always comes my way. It always, someone's, you know, I say it like this. There's a truth in every little lie that you tell. There's a truth in that too. There's a truth in insincerity, because it invites you to be a step closer to your own truth, right? Your insincerity, maybe someone doesn't pick it up around you, and it's not about them picking it up. It's about you and the way that you feel. Because I can tell you right now, the ones that are insincere, they feel it inside. And the ones that create their every second in insincere moments because they don't know any other way, they feel that. And I know they don't feel good about themselves at all. How do I know that? Well, fuck, I've been there. I've had those moments, right? If I were to say I never told a little white lie, I still tell little white lies. Sometimes I don't tell my ground where I'm going because it makes my life easier. But see, I'm still having that moment of, ooh, because I know how I feel. I'm like, oh, I should have told her. I'm like, no, it's better for me. And in turn, it's better for her. How? Well, it leads down a trail of things that I'm not going to explain right now, but you all know what I mean, right? Right. So, be authentic in your everyday. Here's another question of authenticity. A lot of the times we have this tug of war inside. We don't mean to be liars. And I know I'm like kind of drilling that because that's what we are. But when sometimes you have clients and you have a certain class of people that you hang out with, and you have a certain way of being and a certain attire, right? And you got your watch on and you got your nice rings on and your Gucci glasses or my Chanel's. Look, if all these things make you happy, it pleases you, that you own a pair of glasses that are quality and they last you like 20 years, and a set of watch works that, I'm not going to tell you what this is, that there's such pristineness. This is a watch that was built, was handmade. Every piece of work in it was handmade by someone who absolutely loves what they do. Yeah, it's expensive. But I didn't buy it because of the name. I bought it because I've been through 1,000,001 watches and they all freaking broke. So there's a difference between that quality and those of you, and I used to be this too, get dressed, put on these label things, and I had to make sure my label shows. I had to make sure Nike, I had to make sure Abercrombie and Burberry was splattered all over. Is what I needed to identify myself with who I was becoming. And guess what? I didn't like who I was becoming, so I changed that. Eventually, in time, when I was ready. I'm like, that doesn't make me feel good. And you know what didn't make me feel good? Is somehow, at that time I was like, I found myself being surrounded by people who obviously were the same like me. They were shallow. The conversation at a dinner table revolved around my Philippe Patek watch and what kind of glasses I had, and it's the latest and greatest iPhone, or PDA at the time. There was no iPhone at the time. PDA. And I got these shoes, right? And it was like, how much were your shoes? How much? I got these. They were a bit more, but I really like them because, and it was not how much things cost, but it was the reason behind owning all these expensive things that we didn't really give a shit about. We didn't really understand them because it was more important how much things cost than what they meant to us. Do you ever ask yourself what's the difference between buying a $40 pair of shoes and buying a $400 pair of shoes? Do you ever ask yourself the difference? Let me put it to you this way. What's the difference between a $40 pair of shoes and a $4,000 pair of shoes? Well, I can attach a study here. It's an article that actually was sent to me, and it was a Harvard study. It was done by students at Harvard, and not everyone at Harvard comes from a well-off family, right? So it was a study done by a couple of friends. One came from a bazillionaire family and the other one didn't. And you know what's funny? I know what you must be thinking. The interesting thing was, and I was shocked, I was surprised. The bazillionaire kid, and I'll say it like that, the bazillionaire kid is the one that didn't understand why people would spend. It was actually about a pair of jeans. So they're like, why would you spend $300 on a pair of jeans? I would never spend that much money on a pair of jeans. Because jeans, just, you know, a few months and done. Fashion changes and whatever. And the kid from the student that was, you know, the modest student was like, what? Because he had the $300 pair of jeans and the bazillionaire kid didn't. And he said, you know what the crux is? Do you know why people buy these things? Is because for two reasons. One of them is the exclusivity. It's almost like the FOMO, fear of missing out, right? It's, well, if I don't get these, I'm gonna be left out. And I wanna get the latest and greatest, and I wanna get the best of things, because that's what I need to feel good about myself, right? Because I don't have it. Thankfully, the bazillionaire kid got that, and he's like, no, I wouldn't spend that much. I would actually spend it in investments and a home and things that matter, and feeding my family, and producing a miraculous life, and for me and my wife and my kids to be, rather than wearing a pair of jeans this just show off and go to a party and blow it all, spill whatever on and then throw them out because you puked all over them. I know I'm going a bit to extremes, but it's the reality of it, right? So, fear of missing out, the latest and greatest, and then the other reason was I said exclusivity. I think that was one, and then the fear of missing out is the other. But being part of this club, being part of the look at me, look at me, look at me, because I don't have enough worth inside of me, I don't feel worthy enough in my own abilities, that I feel that I need to be part of something else that I don't understand, and you know what, I actually don't even like those people. But I want to be part of that club. That is the epiphany that I had many years back when I was wearing labels. Remember I was telling you I had to have Abercrombie and stuff splashed all over. Look at me now. I buy clothes that you don't see anything. I don't like things. I have them still. I love the quality. I love the color. It's still a brand name. I'm not going to tell you. It makes me feel good. I like how it shows off the shapes of my goodness, the goodness that my mama gave me. Oh my God, did y'all know that I gained like 6 kilos, which is like that's like 12, 13 pounds. I, Nikki Tanas, have gained 13 pounds in the last, you know what I did? I listened to a Romanian doctor. Her name is Edith Kadar. And I just love this woman. And she has a new term, and I'm going to use it. She's like, I dilated. We didn't gain weight. I just dilated. I just got bigger. There's more of me to love. I'm like, hey, I like that. I'm going to steal that. I dilated. You know what, though? I feel so fucking good, and I feel so alive, and I feel stronger, and I feel better, and I feel more energetic. I feel like I have more curves, and I actually look better. And I'm wearing these pants that, okay, I bought these a long time ago, and they didn't quite fit. I love the pants. I love this. And I'm like, and I put them on. I didn't try them on in the store when I was there. So I just bought them, and I thought, okay, that's my size. I came home, put them on, and it looked like I was wearing like 3 sizes too big. And I'm like, fuck. Well, why did I do that for? Because I couldn't find anything smaller, but I really like them. 4 years later actually, these are 4-year-old pants. Never worn them. I've only worn them once. I actually got a butt in them. You know, they actually fit. Like, and they look good. And I'm like, oh my God, my favorite pants actually fit. That is the quality of how I do things. And for me, I say quality because I love who I am. I love who I'm becoming in every moment, in every passable moment. And you know what? I am here. And I'm present. And you know, here's the metaphor, it's coming. I'm warning you, disclaimer. Presence is life's greatest gift that you can ever give another human. In fact, it's the only gift you can ever give to another human being. You know, it's kind of like the first gift of many, of what's to come. Kind of like our first wealth is what? Our health, right? This magnificent brilliance of a human design that we have inside of us. You know, I actually understand what it means to be human and to be the magic of it all. I actually know what it means, that the miracle is here. It's not out there, it's here. Because this creates all of that. Right? I get that. I know a lot of you don't. But what I also know, I feel, is that we're waking up to this. We're waking up to the idea that, I'm starting to wake up to the understanding that I create. Whatever comes out of my mouth creates tomorrow. Whatever I feel now is created from my thinking. And I don't care who you are out there. Did the chicken or the egg come first? Everything started with a thought. Thought creates a feeling. And if you give it more attention than a split second, that feeling, you give it more attention, it creates an emotion. It's an energy. You put energy in motion, and that's what we call emotions. And those are the forces of our lives. Our emotions drive us. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm constantly working on owning my emotions. What do I mean by that? I'm in charge. I actually like my emotions, and when I feel something that I strongly disagree with and dislike, I instantly go, what was I thinking? Oh, this. Why was I thinking that? Where is that going to take me? How is that participating to my future? Is that a future that I like or not? Oh, well, the emotions are not so good. Yikes, I'm going to stop. Well, how do I stop them? Well, I take a pause. You know, in good old army terms, I used to take a knee. Take a knee, soldier. I believe it's even in Hollywood in one of those Will Smith and his son movies. What is that? When they're After Earth. Good movie. Take a knee. Take a deep breath from my diaphragm. In with life source, life force. Out with. When I exhale, I know you can't tell, I instantly, because I've done it for so many years, I instantly imagine exhaling from my heals. And it just goes, it goes out. And everything that doesn't belong is coming out. And then I'm feeding my body oxygen and all the goodness that it needs so it can thrive, so that I can think adequate thoughts, so that my brain, I'm feeding my brain the right endorphins, the right chemicals, I'm feeding my brain what it needs, the right food, so that it can release the hormones and the chemicals. That is what a good friend of mine, Andrea Zoya, calls my dose of happiness, my dose of happy. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Dose. Sup. I don't, whatever. So yeah, that's what I do. And so spring is here. So I'm going to adapt to spring and be like spring. And what happens in spring? Things wake up, you trim the trees, you cut the grass, you feed the flowers, like you feed them fertilizer, you turn the soil around, you feel more alive, you embrace the longer days. And then I do that for me too. How do we do that for us? I clean my closet, I change my wardrobe around, and I take my winter clothes and put them in the other closet and bring my spring summer clothes up to the surface. I wash them freshly. Things that I haven't used this winter at all, I donate. Someone else can use them, right? Refresh. Kind of go through the cycle of life, right? And move along. Out with the old and in with the new. And we adapt. And the quicker you adapt to nature, the seasons, the more resilient we become, and the easier this thing called life will be for us. Like I was saying in the beginning of the, beginning of the show. I'm making my own show here. Beginning of this feed. Be more like the seasons, and communicate more. As in, be more honest with self. Communicate what's in here. Sometimes telling it like it is, how you feel, to the ones in front of you, is they can't accept that. And the world today, we are on every part of our planet, we're experiencing this. We are bombarded from all directions with information. And there's nothing information about it, it's disinformation. And I'm not going to stand here and tell you what the right thing to do is and what the wrong thing to do is, because there isn't such thing. The only right thing to do, the only thing that you ought to do is to listen to hear. And when you stand in alignment with your soul's purpose and you consciously make a decision in that direction, I'm telling you, your life will change in astounding ways. You will have a significant impact on who you are becoming. You will feel better. You will thrive. You will flourish. You will reap the fruits, right? Life is more beautiful. And I promise you that on a micro scale will impact the macro, will impact tomorrow, will impact the world collectively, because it's in our individuality, here and now, in our everyday choice, in our every moment choice, that will change the collective so we can become one. And you will experience an earth that, it's so pretty. And you will be able to it will prepare you for the adversities that are coming. because there's a whole lot of adversities coming our way, more and more and more. And how are you standing up tall in that? Feel your truth, speak from your heart center, and align with your conscious, with your mind. And that's all I got to tell you for today. Until next time, thank you for being here. If you liked what you heard and saw, hit the subscribe button, please. Let's start creating a community and talk about things. I'm open to talk about anything and everything. The one thing I'm not open about is if you become belligerent and you start hating and all of that, I'm gonna cut you off instantly. I'm not even gonna bother. So, and I'm gonna bless you anyways. So, I love you. I bless you. I bless me. And I'm thankful and appreciating for this magical day. Like the Queen does it. And we won't talk about her at all. Ciao.